Right, hello everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're doing fantastic. Yeah, Babetwa, yeah, Book of Proverbs, Bible study na and that's a wisdom study na for the month of January. And we're gonna be here for a little while. Na we go to get ready for the week tomorrow. Yeah, because tomorrow happens to be the first actual full working week of the year, and we all have work to attend. And yɛbɛsrɛ Nyankopɔn for the wisdom yɛde bɛbɔ yɛ bra this year. Yɛde bɛyɛ yɛadwuma this year. Sɛ bɛyɛ yɛadwuma a yɛyɛ bibia a yɛyɛ bia no ɛbɛyɛ profitable ama yɛn na yɛtumi a impact wisdom onto the people we encounter in life. So we've done the first 3 chapters. If you haven't been able to follow, feel free to hop onto my YouTube channel, which is Lady Marie Amwakwa Boedu. All my social media platforms, apart from my X and my Instagram, Lady Marie Amwakwa Boedu, i.e. my TikTok, my YouTube, and my Facebook. So feel free to join, to hop onto YouTube if you've missed the first 3 chapters. Na wetumi akache up. Yeah, so good evening once again to those of you on TikTok as well as those who are watching on YouTube or Facebook. Okie doke. So we're gonna crack on. Mejidi say no be sorry. Mejidi say be modern sorry. Just to start off the year, no, really, really well. And so went to me on conswa enye but this year no try na ma umpaibo indi wenimu kind. Be prayerful, carry the Lord Jesus with you wherever you go, whatever you do. Carry Jesus with you, make him the center of your life, and he will take care of everything else pertaining to your life. Yeah, great. If you are in the UK, we are freezing at the moment. We've got Arctic weather here in the UK. It's really freezing. We're expecting, in fact, some parts of the UK have snow already. Yeah, she say up north, haka crabby yeah, so you been snow. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's crack on. Proverbs chapter 4. What does it tell us? Proverbs chapter 4. The book of Proverbs, we know, say it talks about the wisdom of God, seeking the wisdom of God, valuing the wisdom of God, and protecting the wisdom of God, because it is the principal thing in our lives. The chapter 4 also hammers on that point. It really drums it in. But chapter 4 we can say so it's personified in a way whereby we are being spoken to like a father giving an instruction to his children. Yeah. And this particular father, which is God Almighty, is telling us his children, and is telling us about wisdom, and he's using wisdom as a life path. Yeah. So the pathway to living a successful life, a fulfilled life, a life that is pleasing unto God and pleasing unto yourself. Yeah, pleasing unto God first. No Fear TV, good evening to you. A life that is pleasing unto God first and pleasing unto yourself. Yeah, before you even begin to think about your life pleasing other people. How other people think about you, how other people perceive you, that shouldn't be so much of your focus, as opposed to how pleasing you are to God Almighty and then to yourself. And if you're pleasing to God, it will show in your life, it will reflect in your life. And others will see it around you. Yeah, baby, your light will shine. And then the Bible neka say, a light that is so bright, that is shining, cannot be hidden under a bed. Odishem pasekrana stella ebe shine. You put it on the mountain top, stella ebe shine. The whole world will see. Yeah, you'll be glowing. To say, spiritually, and that spiritual ahofeno, it will manifest in the physical. Yeah, in everything that you do. Okay, so passing on wisdom as a life path is what this father is doing. But this father recounts how he himself was taught wisdom. So wisdom is something that we learn. Yeah, you don't just sit back, relax, live your life anyhow, and expect to be a person of wisdom. No, wisdom is something you must seek. You must seek for it. You must pursue it. You must go looking for it. You must go searching for it with every fiber of your being until you find it. And it is there. We learned in chapter 1 where wisdom is standing in the marketplace, screaming, calling out, crying out for us to come to it. Yeah, wisdom, no, and wokwa so a obe embrace you, na obe teach you, na obe siesie you, ama wo ho aye fe. Yekasa ho fe a, I'm not talking about physical appearance, I'm talking about the inward, your inward, your inner man, inner man no be ye fe. Na inner man ne ye fe, it will exude on the outside. Yeah. So this father is talking about how he himself was taught wisdom, stressing its life-giving power. So wisdom has a certain life-giving power. So wisdom, and you pursue wisdom, you seek after God's wisdom, you seek about, you seek God, you're praying, you're knocking, you're seeking, you're asking, you're in tune with God. You make him the center of your life. Meaning, there's no way I'll be depressed. There's no way I will be depressed. There'll be no room for depression. There'll be no room for anxiety. There'll be no room for anything that is ungodly. That ain't free. There'll be no room for that. Aha. Wisdom is portrayed as a path. Into just look at wisdom. Oh, I can see a beautiful moon outside. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moon coming through the window, even through the curtains. Maybe I'm a kushini. So look at wisdom like a pathway. Yeah, like a pathway. You're trying to say, oh, ko baby. Debbie amita, you see, yeah, you're driving, and obabe ko baby, and you input your destination into your sat nav, yeah, the navigation system in your car. You input your destination in there before you set off, and once you set off, you see the map. It shows on your dashboard, on the screen, or sat nav the screen there or car, no, you see the map, you see the pathway that you're supposed to follow. Yeah, and as you're following that pathway, sometimes it drew baby ubetumi hierarchy to be by missing a turn be. You get to a certain crossroads, and sometimes you're like, there's a little bit of delay, especially if you're using Google Maps. Google can sometimes delay a little bit into a sat nav, is unsure. I say try to pick the signal, then maybe you go ahead of yourself and make a certain turn, only to realize that, oh shoot, I've made the wrong turn. But then you see, say, rerouting, or shushe, to bring you back on track. Aha. Sana say, if you seek God's wisdom, sana tie, especially through the book of Proverbs, because the whole Bible is packed with wisdom anyway. For those of us who believe in the Bible and use it as our lives guide, yeah, as the manual to our lives, the whole Bible is packed with wisdom. But the book dedicated to wisdom is the book of Proverbs. Hence, we are focusing on that book for the month of January. Okay, and just view wisdom as a portrayed pathway. We were determined, said this year 2026, this is the pathway you want to be on. Never mind the other pathways you've been on in previous years, good or bad. This is a brand new opportunity we've all been given, a brand new 365 days, of which we've already done 4 days. So we're left with 364. How do you plan to make the remaining 3 we're left with 361. Pardon me. Yeah, 361. Let me get my math right. 361. How do you intend to make the remaining 361 as impactful as possible, as fulfilling for you on a daily as possible? Okay, so look at it as a pathway not to confusion, a pathway not to destruction, a pathway not to anxiety, a pathway not to set you back, but a pathway to righteousness and a pathway to success. There's no way you will immerse yourself in the word of God. Make him the focal point of your life. Ube making mistakes. And I said ube failing. Dabi. Okay? You will not fail. Yes, you might ube I'll bet me a slippy back but at the end of the day, and your failure. Okay? It's putting yourself on the pathway to righteousness and success, and not sin, which automatically would increase your light. Remember, like I said, your light in our own way. We will be a light in darkness, and you will be your light in righteousness. Now, how do we increase that light? How do we make our light shine even more brighter than before? This is the only way, as far as some of us are concerned. And noting that BBC, I always like to stress that things like this are not for everyone. It is for that person who has searched themselves, who has done their soul searching and has determined and made a decision. So this year, 2026, they want something different for themselves and are ready to put in the work. Okay, right. I was saying, and I'm reading from notes kakrame. So there's the path of righteousness, and then like I said, if there's a path of righteousness, then the opposite is also true, that there's also the pathway of the wicked, okay, which leads to darkness and destruction. And you make a choice, good or bad, ejina yeso. The tree of knowledge and of evil, ejina yeso. It's up to you. This year, 2026, the kind of associations you want to make, the kind of associations you want to involve yourself in, good associations, godly associations, righteous associations, or wicked and destructive associations. At the end of the day, it always comes back to you, to the self, you making those choices. Nobody drags you into these things. You drag yourself into it, whether good or bad, until the decision is yours. The chapter also urges us to pay careful attention to one's heart. Yeah, chapter 1 taught us about discernment, being able to discern. And Debbie Amitaka say, one thing I made several years ago, a boy me pa with reading people and reading their heart. Which is discernment, is Asembia Oprah Winfrey, essay Miss Maya Angelou of blessed memory, na Madame Maya Angelou. You're one of the civil rights leaders in the United States of America, African American poet, civil rights leader. Now, your Oprah mentor, Oprah Winfrey, Miss Oprah Winfrey, the mentor of an senema. Na Miss Oprah Winfrey say, Miss Maya Angelou, no BB, or say, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Never wait for them to show you 29 times. And I had an epiphany. I had an aha moment. I was like, this is it. This is it. Whenever you encounter people, it doesn't matter how long you've known them for. What they make opa and tenase. Na dream ho pa enipa wo wa brabom. It could be umame, it could be papa, it could be your siblings, your so-called friend, so-called best friend, and so on. Even your colleagues at work, your boss, whatever. Just tena se pa na dwene ho ye, dwen kwa chire, and na who say each one of these people in your life has always shown you who they were. It's either you believed them the first time or you kept convincing yourself, say, enipa we enye say not yet. Especially oma ye bone wa abrabom. Obi di ubone wa abrabom bia sit down and sissing. Ube unse ade na nipa ne di ye wo na eye wo ya no. That wasn't the first time ana odi aye wo. Ana say now was show signs and only your friend red flags. Now was show signs natural dada meka sign SIGN is what I'm talking about, and not SCIENCE. No, not science. I'm talking about sign, like a signage, like a signboard or something. Obia ye wadia mana ye wiya biano. Because that is the only thing that will really make you grasp our concept of when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. You realize that nipano or da subaine di but maybe you decided to give them a long rope. You see, sometimes what intrigues me about people who hurt us is that aya na omu feel say ebia or da suban bi di chere in the course of the relationship na ye na ye there be sometimes ye but we override your feelings towards you and then we decide to give you a long rope until such point that we reach a certain threshold that maybe we cannot now take it anymore, then we cut the cord eventually. But obia na mekan obia ya wade ama na aya no. It could even be your spouse. It could even be your partner. A lot of people complain about their partners in relationships. Yeah. Whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, or even in marriage. But nase, nashe o partner no, you realize that subain biya order ne dide chira wo neno. Sa subain order ne dide chira wo at the start of the relationship. Just that it showed up in a different way. But wo and I will choose say either say obe you any as atunchen obe bu weni eguso and I say obe override it. And say that is where that principle comes from. Say when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Once you believe them the first time, then you can decide, say, okay, I now know who you are. Me no benante still, but me who how I me no benante befa. Indeed, there are a lot of people in our lives now. Yene woman nam still, but omu nim se ye nim omo. The same way I want so obi ne wonam. Ono so onimo pa. We choose say ono benante, but and this is where boundaries come from. Setting boundaries na debi amekano. It comes from. It works both ways. And yes, say be a developer who are now in yama binum say say and now we are perfect. There's nobody's perfect here. But when you understand that principle of when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Ebwa wa brabum, ebwa wo relationships mo. Into no who encounter obia. Ade ni yi nitia, you are like, oh, I know this already. I know you already. But meaning how I may know one namfa. Into that way, nipa no on to me ya de manin ye o ya bim. On to me ye bibi ma enya nwanwa bium. Because unimono. But one way decide is okay. Still I may know benante. It could be your friend. Still I may know benante. But say the meaning how I may know one namfa. It could be your partner. I'll still be with you. But meaning how I may navigate it. Meaning how I say we near maybe I may my name bother me bium or whatever. Yeah. So we must learn that thing. Or say the chapter urges us to pay careful attention to one's heart. Pay careful attention to people's hearts. I have some people in my life. Omoche me penyine bebre. Me pa womasem no omonso pemasem pa. I can pick up the phone and call them anytime. Omo ya available ombefa. Omo nya available ombefre me back whenever they are available. Some of these people are people others cannot stand them. Yeah. There are some people like Ewo Meme life mo and na. I see them as beautiful people because I didn't look at them from the outward appearance. I didn't judge them from what everyone else is saying about them. Because of that principle, yeah, minim no, me share woman, I may encounter almost the first time, no, immediately went after their heart. Me share akomano, nipe ebia on the outside, no, oye hija. But nakoma te say, nipe oye ni papa, nakuma imuti. Obo ho ye hija on the physical. But nakuma muno or say baby mpo. They cannot even hurt a fly. A shenenum kora obeya mau. But physically no oye hija. It is a woman would judge only pa chrono on the hija na. You might miss ebia papa ye bia and kas ni pasani pa chrono obetumi aye edia boao. Sansona I have come across people who are so-called humble. Yeah, so-called humble. Whatever humility is to you, because humility obia who differently. They said you obia who success differently. And then I may share program biwaha. And the program is about rich people in the UK here, rich families and poor families, those who are living below the poverty line in the UK here. Na omuyi rich person, if as a rich family, ni yi omoba baako, na yamana ko poor family ne ho. Ono baako tena for a few days just to experience how people living below the poverty line in the UK no, you know, what living conditions are one team and how life is for them. Into your 3 episodes. Now, one of them na ye Asian boy. I say Indian, but Asian, either Indian, Pakistan, either Indian or Pakistani, mostly. Or more UK had the most in terms of type of Asians. You know. Now, this boy, rich boy, in his normal everyday lives, he drives a Bentley. He has, you know, they have several Bentleys at home, Rolls Royces, you know, lives a very luxury life. Adriane cross you no ebi da on kitchen, no Adriane da. He has butlers, he has your friend is saying caretakers and so on. I mean, osifre a car mukrampoa. The driver, they you know, since you're to a driver, baby be umbrella when it's Tiffany at the other. My husband, yeah, back it one yeah, shit. And then somewhere along the line, yeah, back it one bizarre question be or say na program here omu yi. I then omu nyane say omu bema poor people no so no ebeko rich phone fee na omu akwa experience what wealth is like rather than say omu bema rich person ne mo beba poor person ni fee. Inti ye didi sa nkomo na humility nkomo be mo na me ka kire me ba ne se onim se Ghana ye free no a lot of Ghanaians me started some here social media videos na di and e many about the Ghanaian community a lot and how the collective thinking of the Ghanaian society. And I mean, who say a lot of Ghanaians equate, say a lot of Ghanaians equate poverty to humility. Or say, really? Let me see, yes. You often hear Ghanaians say somebody comes from a very humble background. And when they say somebody comes from a very humble background, all it means is that the person grew up in poverty. No, say, but why do they think that? Let me see, yes. Sana Ghana for be Ghana Phobe Bray. Anita, hello, darling. Hi. Mod, hi, Michiel. Good evening. Ghana Phobe Bray equity poverty to humility. Forgetting, say, there are very wealthy people who are also equally very humble people. Because programming and Asian, in fact, all the rich children are almost called poor people in the you know. They all, the minute they walked in, no, Yebisa almost said, how do they feel? They all talked about how humbled they were to encounter, to see, say, wow, and UK na yenina yete no, sa ebi mo living conditions ni, sa family bi wo hokra na, girl ba could say, or spend £60. In fact, she said she spends £100 just to do her hair, go to the hairdressers in a week. Ni nails or be my, you know, coffee in near mouth to turn in a luxury near mouth and my Asian boy, the family he had to use £10 to do grocery shopping. £10 a pill, £10 to do grocery shopping to come and feed this family. And he didn't know what to do with the £10 because £10 is a thing. Now, family, poor family, no, omo two girls. Two girls, no, call ballet dancing. Yeah, they do ballet. And the ballet dancing cost them £60. And the Asian guy was like, but £60 here, you people struggle. Mo bre answer na when people they tria mo dance classes, no. That's my haircut money. Oko baba, the haircut money, yes, £60, But then they all talked about how humble they were. And you could actually tell from Womokasa or Mudimina or Mubibia said they were actually very humble. Because yes, you were Sikafobebria, you're so humble, down to earth. On Fandisika to ne ho ne ade. Inti me yene ye bani di nkomo na meka kyerɛ no sɛ Ghana fo bebre equity poverty to humility. And I made the Honorable Kennedy Japan a example. Now make a so several years ago, when some of us came across Honorable Ken as a Ghanaian politician on television, on radio, any idea, some of us we got him immediately. But a lot of Ghanaians thought somebody like Honorable Kennedy Japan was bragging whenever he talked about his wealth, his money, the things he has. A lot of people thought he was bragging, but rather he was showing people what is possible. What is possible? Honorable Kennedy Japan, back in those days, back in those days when people thought he was bragging, no, he wasn't bragging. He was actually showing people that this is possible. This is what is possible for everybody. Into a cultural. So once upon a time, because me started to make honorable answer. Na me bani bisa me question me bani bisa me say, but how was he doing it that made people think he was bragging? Now me started to explain it and say, this is somebody who would come on television, sit on radio, grant interviews and say, oh, he started by Senna Oton chewing gum or quine so then or Germany now or your friend is saying na or your friend is saying dishes or your dishes, then became a taxi driver at some point in America, etc., 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 etc. And or the bedru baby away. Yeah, sure, Mr. Kwame Despite the same. Started off with cassettes, selling cassettes on the streets. Kakran, and the diabidruha. Mr. Your friend is saying, I was listening to Angel FM man, no, Dr. Oting. He shared his story sometime last year on Angel FM. On a man bikoye, a jumana man niye inuro. From what I gathered, he took the recipe, the Inuno recipe, from the man. He learned it, came back to Ghana, started making his own, putting his own recipe together for Inuno. Out of that came the angel cream, and the rest is history, and so on. But then some will talk about it, some will not talk about it. Everybody is different. The fact that somebody talks about Nadia a certain way does not mean say nipano or bragging. Rather, no. Nice simple say or bragging poor or chira said this is possible. The Bible even talks about us being boastful in the Lord. It is a memete that's a yankopon adomenia. The Bible admonishes me to be boastful in the Lord. Being boastful in the Lord. They say would wa brabo nyamea but obi tinchaya na nebu fu na we take offense or say bragging. And so let me explain this. And then somebody said something in the program. I think it was the Asian guy. He said something or saying, was it him? And I know it was one of the Abrofu guys in the program or saying the fact that somebody has money does not make them a good person. Yeah. The fact that somebody has money does not make them, no. Or say the fact that somebody has money does not make them a good person. The fact that somebody has money does not make them a bad person. I don't know if Honorable Kennedy Japan or someone about the fact that somebody has money does not make them a bad person. And the fact that somebody does not have money does not mean they are a good person. I don't know if humility in Komoneba ewe fear ha every. The fact that somebody has money, Brony boy in a car will program no. The fact that somebody has money does not make them a bad person. But we share baby aye free now. A lot of people for the longest time now saying that through social media, Utmo say a lot more Ghana for have now seen a lot more wealthy people. Into say, it is becoming normal to them in their heads. Say, okay, there are wealthy people, and it is okay to talk about your wealth. It is okay to show your wealth. Into ene who say Ghana for esikafor when they show their wealth, people don't feel uncomfortable anymore. But before no, na Ghana ni sikeni osrompo se obe show ne wealth. Why? Because we had categorized them under say sika a wicked person. The fact that somebody has money does not make them a good person. And the fact that somebody doesn't have money, the fact that somebody has money doesn't make them a bad person. And the fact that somebody doesn't have money does not make them a good person. Because obu wa onisika, onokura no ye wicked kesiye. In fact, poverty no kura ama wa ye wicked kura more. Poverty ninti, say wadane armed robber. Poverty ninti, wa ye wicked. Ohun obia na opeso odi ubone because why you jealous, why you envious. Because in the program, no, the couple na brony girl be or couple be susufie. It was the couple, no, bear man in the car statement here me making say I said the fact that somebody has money does not make them a bad person, and the other, the opposite. Ne partner or no, or no so yeah, the camera no tone so ye bisa ne say what are her thoughts about the rich girl na abani fie no muntie di oka yo, or say I am upset that she spends about 60 pounds on her hair. Or say sikeni girl na abani fie no, or no brony girl no below the poverty no, or no why upset ne bu afu. Say brony girl no spends 60 pounds or the koyeniti. But question is it her fault? So or the 60 pounds ayeniti. That is her reality. So or ya wona to wealthy family mono is her reality. Nana me catch me husband na ye chere ye back it one say statement na brony girl ne make the other girl ne make clearly that is jealousy and envy. Because you could have said, say, oh, wow, I am actually surprised. I am actually astonished. I am intrigued. Say, you will be more mutimi spending 60 to 100 pounds just muti. I wish to get there one day. I'm going to work hard. I aspire to get there one day. I think say enone ye better than say Ubeka say why you upset. Because why are you upset? Why are you upset that somebody is living their best life? Why are you upset? What's your sense? That's where the humility thing, going back to Proverbs 4, where it is urging us to pay careful attention to one's heart. And I'm kofa and the program and ediaba and komuimui. Now, she girl ya or can say why you upset? Say the rich girl no spend this 60 pounds at the unity no. Imagine say such a person so you were down for. Imagine so you were down for. Imagine say who feel say oh madam fu new So me so-called best friend in here. Maybe I wanna wabo who modern wa brabum. Into no level best life. Yeah, which me ye £60 ko ye with tea. Which me ye £60 ko ye with nails. Which me ye £100 the toby be the yawo home. Which me ye sika kesiye the top perfume. Be nyama you treat you after a life na a one pay. Na ye ko interview onyonku bi. Ne ye ko bisa ne say, oh, what do you think about Wadam for Maria Mwakwa Buedu? Now or say I am upset. So, or spending £70, £80, £100 on such and such a. Imagine such a person being your friend. Now, ne partner no. Now, on also can say the fact that Obi Wosika does not make them a bad person. A bad person. The fact that Obi Nisika does not also mean say oh you good no. She on also ne heart, she ne thinking. Now she ne partner or ne partner no, and so a thinking. Enipa emienu senke yesi yi ba kwa damfo a omumu hwan na nka obechu so make mefa beema no because beema no ne head space ne thinking is in the right place. Beema ne thinking is in the right place because ohuwa that statement that he made na chere say ohu nipa ohwe wakoma mu ohwe nipa akoma mu onhwe wo outward appearance because wo outward appearance no could portray say we are sorrowful but now wakuma mu no wonye. That is what the book of Proverbs is teaching us here, to pay attention to one's heart. A lot of people sit and pray for destiny helpers. Your destiny helpers are all around you, but you have branded them bad people because of Ebia Womusubaimbi. Moma menfa Ghanaian rapper Shatawale menfanya example. Moshe said yes Shatawale tia. Shatawale heja neniso shi. But anytime I see Shatawale, me penasem so much because I see sana me no nonsense. Shatawale no okokana onfa wo ho nchewo. But Shatawale akoma. Shena koma. She said you see adoye. She said you see chadie. She said there opie bia otutu sika edema youth no. Treni pa owa akoma pa. And as much as one way dinner bonnet industry ne dinner bonnet a de biana nani abrea or tina social media e boom e ka ho asem no. She said ya nyame hira no. Na officer Shatawale na kuma munya ka nyame be hira no. Enso ye Ghana fo bebre a obi ti se Shatawale no, they will not want to associate with him. Because one of branding is say AB Asebi or your bonnet because Shatawale be show camera or bed the dam or left, right, and center. Do ma me bem sebi or do papa nyina bebem. But that doesn't make him a bad person. No, Shena kumem. Ti de bia na nyame hira no. De bia na nyame hira no. That's another very classic example I can give. Until let us learn 2026 because you see we are growing ye nyini wa brabom ye nyini unless wo a why wadwene say wo de wo mpese wo benyini but say wo nyini pa wa brabom a learn to look at nipa koma hwe say nipa na ote ho no na koma te saying. There's a Ghanaian lady be or TikTok so me money ding. Sometime last year, I came across a couple of her videos. Now, blogging sites now what TikTok and what you trying videos be brain. Sometimes you would hear sometimes which members or like, and she kept complaining and said, "Wabua nipa be brain de biana mo de boni trianeka de biana nipa de boni trianeka." And as she was complaining, a lot of people were insulting her. Wabodam kofa wedro sadena Ghana for yen wabodam kofa wedro bloody blah. Omo kekasa mepamocho mebo. Bear with me one moment. Na omo dinatem. But a couple of times I sat back, I listened to this lady's video, and all I could see was a person with a good heart. That's all I could see. Somebody who had a good heart. That's all I could see. A person who had a good heart. Ya ne boni a eye ne ya all can. What do I say? It learn to look at enkrofo akoma. O hwe nipa akoma. You hwe nipa akoma. Don't judge people. You see, now if God himself who created us, Nyankopon boy does not judge nipa by an outward appearance. Why are you making a mistake by judging nipa with the outward appearance and not looking at akumum? If se Nyankopon hwe nipa akumum, why don't we also learn Nyankopon akwan say yen hwe yebehwe akumanim? Asem bi so, aden yeso yen hwe say yebehwe nipa akuma. E wo say yen hwe na yehwe nipa akumam. And that is what the book of Proverbs is teaching us here. Ewa chapter 4. Pay attention to one's heart. Pay attention to one's words. Pay attention even to their only obedient command. Nipa yeni is the gateway to our soul. Your eyes. People's eyes give away a lot. In conversation, people's eyes give away a lot. Ushia wadanfo okwa adwumam ebi a wanya bibi foforo wo de aye wo ho wani agye ufu se wo ba be hia wadanfo ni hu a ono so nani begye ama na ohu wa na waye wa rolling nani waye nani some way bi but no ono sre wa so no sre wa rolling nani ya hwe eni no communicates a lot. Enino it communicates a lot. Nipa ne betimi ne wasre apetende banana ni no give you away jealousy ni envy. Nani no give you away anger. Nani no give you away say I don't want to hear it. To learn, pay attention. When you be doing command, pay attention. You know, and community. You see, where you know it comes with training. My father-in-law, my husband, papa, of course. Now or your judge, high court judge. My husband, papa, only needing command or hear television, or hear TV, or hear TV. Now so when the phone, so only the phone, so I saw all kind of newspaper. At the age of almost 89, on share glasses, I saw all kind of newspaper. I said poppy kind of newspaper. Now or hear TV, Chelsea, or Chelsea, pa, or hear football, nessa, and so come around it or TBPA. Uba o na why interject no I can't be or say mo kasa nyina meetie a training train yourself so that in conversation only need pay din komo only need penny din komo but now we'll pick signals because people will drop so many signals to you in conversation. One wadan for binam, one needing komo. Ebia what said you making bibi papa bia happen to you or brabom when ya je wafa phone oko kan kire no so wo sha ase ese wo kan no akosia wo fa oh I say nyanya wo kind of I say o tie wo but I say why you busy bit ni na or drop signals dey kire or mouse signals say as wo wani je sem na wo de aba na enche da amfa ne ho saa. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. In our book of Proverbs, if you immerse yourself in it, not just that, but people's steps. People's steps. Pay attention to people's steps. How quickly people would come to your aid. Or how they'll take their time. So Wuhiana will be taking the time in their time. Onya timer. My ye busy. Oh, me fro back. Say they my ye busy. 2 weeks now one tenenka. Uhuhiano. Well, show who he or she is. Who choosing not to believe. This year, choose to believe people and believe them fast, quick. So pay attention to one's heart, one's words, one's eyes, one's step, because these shape the direction and outcomes of one's life. Pay close attention, keen attention. One nkrofo na mo so wo ya wadamfo. Also wo mo ya work colleagues, only wo mo ya fine pa. Ya kan say mudru open ya change topic. Still like you don't get it. Yeah, mouse signal, still like you don't get it. Social media, womo so womo ya wadamfo. Womo be follow bebre. Wo de ade to ha obi an like it. Still like you don't get it. Wo de ade to ha obi an comment it. Still like you don't get it. You don't get it. So womo ya monitoring spirits. They are just following you because they are monitoring your life. Because your real friends will comment. Your real friends will like. Your real friends will love. They will show you support. Everybody else is a monitoring spirit. Still, I will say you don't get it. Also, you don't get it. You better get it. You better get it too. You better get it. As you be sitting there wondering, now then I'm post here no be like hey, who try mama be like enti woman like inti wabemwebu. And now woman comment inti wabemwebu. Enti wo se wo nya wo video biem. Because woman comment it. Because woman me like it. Oh, 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers. But what the idea bebo wa a nipa one after 3 hours and say na when you nipa one mo be press like as if say obi na hu mobo, as if say ohun ya mobo no obi person o ma o like keke. What the idea kobo ho 5 hours later o aso obi enhu enti wo so wo mfa hwe mebo ho biem. Wo so wo nya video biem because wo ye video no nipa obi akora ama. Na wa me hu sa Maria mo akwa buedu na metumi so camera na me nko na meti so na me ye ma ade. Na ade na broni obo recorded. Na se broni si metumi record video ne de to a. Se ne metumi aba live. Obi amakura se ne me record ano no. Ana meboa. Not to talk of say nso de ye hu se de bi o. Enipa ne bebre wo ho a wo hu ye na bufu. But ade na wo ye no so eboa no. Enti say no otie o but on my video no so otechire no otie on click maso na register wo numbers nim. Enti the more reason why you must continue. The more reason why you must continue. Enisa woman bu abem. You must train yourself that you do not seek validation from external people as long as wo sorry anopa. And God Almighty, you have, and now you're quite sorry, and only yourself will preach here, Pastor Grayson. Or sister who was Jesus. That is all. You make a chira me banner, Mrs. Wate. Mrs. Wate. Ketwa no penny phone de omo London. Mrs. Wate. All you need is Jesus. Oh, all you need is Jesus. Finish. 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 All you need is Jesus. Finish. And as long as God has approved, live your best life. What you social media for? Now social media for don't was saying na unim wom physically. Now one ma unim wom physically, womu gum kura ne kosi say. Now one ma unim wom physically. Who try wom validation. Who try mo be like video and say one who say wakanya ansasem. Oh, try mo be comment. This is a good one. And son, one who say, and Neddy out of the ball, Nyansa womb. Now, no, may catch a lady be your friend, me a ye dinkomo. That was uncle, social media, same me home. And I may catch us a mamma, a chiba, or you can me aunt. First, Nana, pebia, over showing a me aunt the Bible scripture, abba, whatever bread or WhatsApp or so. A woman, ya, be 2 years, nothing obey jay. When I one day me auntie didn't come also be friend or nipa ni say oh na say won't follow Bible scripture name maybe where jai na eboa na pa na me ante say na eboa wo pa enso da ben na me di bi bre wo acknowledge ye da ben na me di bi bre wo ka say wo write up sia na pe bia wo de be kama pa na eboa me o say o da bi na eboa me pa na mpo me wo de bre me me ne me work colleagues share me so me share ma me work colleagues. But you see, you never told the persons you never encouraged them. You never showed them say, oh, support it. Now you're doing a good job. Continue, carry on there. It is called self-development or personal development. In the spirit. Will be validation. Na yebetena se atwe nipa validation na wa nkasa wa validate we no akọ validate you bi. No. Me and pay me sorry. Your first Sunday of the year. Before I even went to the bathroom, me gina me mirror wa me bedroom, me hwe mirror num sa me si ewurade aha ye. Dana Hamilton e bornum. O si aha ye me si ewurade aha ye. Ewurade aha yo, me and you, aha ye papa. Ewurade me yentena he ya na aha ye bi ya aha yankasa. Talk to yourself. Talk to God. Look at yourself in the mirror and big yourself up. Me say who to say we are president of the Republic of Ghana. You see yourself like you are ruling the Donald Trump because that is who you are in the eyes of God. Don't look down on yourself. While looking down on yourself at check. While looking down on yourself at check. Create happy moments for yourself in the course of the day. Learn to make yourself happy. Validate yourself. Don't wait for nobody. Don't. Because they won't come. They will not come. Because you must understand that nobody cares about you anyway. Nobody cares. And the few who sometimes will pretend as if they care, most of the time, they are here. No disrespect to my cherished viewers, but sometimes, the few who will pretend like they care, they don't care. Maybe I'm a bomb man be video and then me see me post it. Let this be your friend. Me and me call Amazon. Hey, one more cute near my Amazon. So me order me near my Amazon. Kran me near jiwa me spirit mu. Notebook kakra gratitude book, gratitude journal, daily devotional, and on. And near my me de bua me for in the course of the year. So that I'm always in my happy. Now me my say no. Why have a farmer than walk when ninja? Because I'm so used to being by myself. Those are some of my happiest times when I'm by myself. Me kona mo sofa mo me wo me blanket bi na me de me blanket ni kuri me ho saa na me nya me drink kakra bi se me nchen na me hwe bia opera na yanla na all these spiritual nyama bia manya bibi me hwe ni TV social YouTube. So those are my and how deep the universe is and how vast it and astronaut be story that is me. That is me. And to me, the best here for tonight. Let's develop ourselves and let's learn to immerse ourselves in Nema Binum say. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is what Proverbs chapter 4 is about. Tomorrow I'm starting a new job by the grace of God. For the first time in a secondary school. I'm wishing myself all the best because primary school 4 and a secondary school 4, 2 different ball games. But anyway, I'm wishing myself all the best. Yeah. And start off the year with vim. And God is with you. God is on your side. Be okay. Write down your vision. Write it down. Write down the vision. What is your vision for 2026? Well, again, you write it down. Meditate on it, believe it, feel it, be in the Adiana Wuchrono. Let your frequency and your vibration it has all act as if it has already happened, and watch God do the rest. Yeah. Okay. A father's instruction. Hear, O children, the instruction of a father, and pay attention and be willing to learn. Pay attention and be willing to learn, so that you may gain understanding and intelligent discernment. For I give you good doctrine. Do not turn away from my instruction. When I was a son with my father David, tender and the only son in the sight of my mother Bathsheba, he taught me and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words. Keep my commandments and live. Keep my commandments and live. It means if you don't keep the commandments, you will die. It might not be physical death, but spiritual death. But we are empty. You're empty. To keep my words and be alive, keep my commandments and be alive. Get skillful and godly wisdom. Acquire understanding. It means it does not come automatically. You have to acquire it. You have to go after it. Or say, acquire understanding actively. Seek spiritual discernment. Mature comprehension. Mature comprehension. Oh, yeah, the asem beto a wo share asem no for what it is. You make sure you have an understanding of asem no. Eti empo me fa politics emrem. All the previous years, me ye political videos now. Sometimes motis and make say, oh, ebi asem bi ba Ghana. Na me share that ni emu insight into na ma fa phone. Na ma free politicians ni bi wa Ghana ho. Say ye MPP, say ye NDC. I don't care. I just want information. Na ma free. Asemi abe emu te say an ampa. Oh sa mom. Ah, okay. Yes, he say. Okay, you waka mate. Me da say. Me da tro. Sometimes simple. Those of you who watch me, sometimes simple, you see me call some of the politicians live. I call them live on the program. I thought that maybe I'm my speaker. Na me na kasa. I thought that na me the nipa na ba so direct. Se mo be kaya tama president Mahama Airbus some semi buy. I very me kaya didn't na me who said no, this is a vindication, but just to be sure. The message journalist back in Ghana, and I say, or say yes, and I'm but in the course of the video, I called Yenria Bema Sami Jenfi. Sami Jenfi picked up and I said, Sami, where the patron me were live, who bet me near Dinkomo Kakra? I said, no problem. I put him on live speaker. Sami near Dinkomo, Chire. Yes, that is seeking so that one could kasa out of ignorance. Mekai said there was a day be made the Honorable Dr. Rashid Pelpo. Say, so a minister for, I believe, labor or so. Me the neba me program issue. Ye di nkomo or be niema bebre bi so ani kire yen. Asama me ka kire honorable, me say honorable, it means some of us have been talking out of ignorance sometimes. So I say yes. Oh, because when you're careful, you speak out of ignorance because you don't have the full facts. You don't have the full facts. I say, I don't know, catch ya wahano. Into acquire understanding, actively seek spiritual discernment, mature comprehension, and logical interpretation. Logical interpretation. Asamana will be catch on. Is it logical? One ya catch on the sebe eto wa sum die. Da eto wa sum sebe nyansa wo mu. Mama mefa Daddy Lumba say me ba ye na recently and family example kitu ebi wa ha. We heard people on social media and Daddy Lumba no go jina steps so and will be pianetico in your boo ni komu and na sebi ye de kakareka ye nkwan ma ne na wan kasanti nsem we anipa daseni wote wa wutie enti eto wa sum sebi nyansa wom yet wafa obi ho time as a result of near Wukotis will be catcher. Yeah? In the Bible, do not forget, nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not turn away from her wisdom, and she will guard and protect you. Do not turn away from wisdom. If you stay with wisdom, wisdom will guard and protect you. If you stay with wisdom, sofu biare ni asase so ha, prophet biare ni asase so ha, they can get into your head. Obeka achira se fa usika nyina bra, koton wejapade nyina na fa bre no, because ono no yo nyankopon, ono no ye the savior, ono no ba beje wo nkwa. If you stay with wisdom, obi to be in country or say ono oba be building Noah's Ark, area say baba say na wa park o near me free Liberia to kwanya ko Ghana adenya obi say na obi kaye no uko bi sa nyankopon say urade na wankasa so de na wo ka e na wo didi say wo ye nyame ba pa na nyankopon anka nkyere so oba be say area say. But you see how gullible people are because they lack wisdom. Because of lack of wisdom. Tishofu bi beba be bo hu sesia. No abeju hu sika nyina. And a man suffer sad way the most. Women and a time suffer sad way the most. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not turn away from her wisdom, and she will guard and protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is get skillful and godly wisdom. It is preeminent, and with all your acquiring, get understanding. With all your acquiring, with everything you are acquiring, get understanding. In all thy getting, get understanding. And actively seek spiritual discernment, mature comprehension, and logical interpretation. And you see, anytime the Bible keeps repeating something, it is and your Bible, the power of repetition. Anytime you hear something being repeated and repeated and repeated, you see, or can't this is what it is. Nothing else but this. Or say, praise wisdom, exalt her, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. She will place on your head a garland of grace. She will present you with a crown of beauty and glory. Hear, my son, and accept my sayings, and the years of your life will be many. This is it. Verse 10. You can carry on and read the rest of it. In fact, before you go to bed, now what you continue reading from 11 to 27. We are not one meditating. Then you do your gratitude journaling before you go to bed. Can you imagine what a beautiful night's sleep you will have and wake up so beautiful and so energetic in the morning? Yeah. For tonight. Okay, I love you guys. Moma yentie papa video ya me se me hu no ene na afi yeko. Listen to this man here.
People want access to us, and they want access. We got to be careful, because what we don't understand, man, is that evil people want access to us, and they want access any way they can get it. They want access to be able to put spells on us. They want access to be able to drain energy out of us, and they want access to us. Even they want our permission even to take our life. And what do I mean by that? If you look at some of these movies, and I always say, man, that they put stuff in movies, man, and a lot of these movies be telling the truth, but we don't understand it, right? There was an old movie out called Fright Night a few years ago. And remember when I said that evil people want access to you? You have to grant them access for them to be able to take over you, right? In various ways. So in this movie Fright Night, this vampire couldn't get into this lady's house because he wanted to attack her son. But one of the rules is a vampire cannot come into your home unless you invite them. And if you think about the movie Sinners that just came out, it was the same thing in that movie, that the vampires were trying to get into that barn area where they were dancing and stuff at, and they had to ask to come in. They had to ask for access. And just like I'm telling you right now, evil people and demonic things. They want access to you and they want you to grant it to them. And it's not just through in real life, it's even through social media. We have to stop letting everybody be friends. People come into your inbox talking about, well, not your inbox, they come on your page saying, can I be your friend? And you got to even be careful about that because technology can be evil. If you agree to let some people be your friend, a lot of times you agree into them getting into your life and getting into them casting spells and things on you like that. You can't even agree to people being your friend in real life, and you can't agree to everybody being your friend on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram because a lot of that mess is evil. So be careful, man. If you work around a bunch of people, if you got people in your life, a lot of people, man, they're not going to tell you that they're witches or warlocks, but they want access to your life. They want you to give it to them. They want you to say that, why don't you come over for dinner? They want you to say, hey, let's go out and do something. They want access to your life. Don't give everybody access to your life. That discernment that you have where you'll go around certain people and you just automatically don't like them or you feel uncomfortable around them, use that because that's just letting you know that this is not the person that you want in your life and you don't want to give everybody access to your life.
Yeah, this year 2026, don't give everybody access to your life. Don't give everybody access to your life. And to wopa so Facebook Messenger no wo dum no o ntumi ndum na wo mo de message ne ba men kan delete. Back when they say TikTok as I say wo mo see the direct message ne wo mo no some inbox type of thing, DM or whatever they call it. Like, where do you know these people from that you allow them so much access to come and disturb your peace? I thought I'll bet social TikTok no so will be saying and will be by me DM no more comment and a track comment no they TikTok no so that is obiako can be inbox no and I comment and you reply why do you allow people to disturb your peace like that? People you don't know them from nowhere. What is so difficult about turning those things off? Maybe I make a my husband. So I know one of the most ridiculous things that ever happened. Say, mubi a social media, most Sundays are inbox, and are messenger no, for strangers and all manner of people, demons, or be to be no. Until 2026, but guard your life, guard your peace. Guard your life, guard your peace. Only when Yankopon pe asa. Only when Yankopon pe asa. Okay, if you want to really live a peaceful life this 2026, peace of mind and enjoy that peace, guard it. Seeking yamea obabuao to protect your peace. Yeah, love you guys and yamea don't watch you. Good night.